Okay, hello everyone, Mark Surgeon again, and we will start with this elf and create the head. So how to do it? Let me go back to the 4 viewports. We want to see what's going on in the perspective as well. But we will start in the front view, and the reason is we want to set up a kind of a basic box that covers our needs. Now, what does it mean? Let me maximize this viewport. Alt X to make it see-through. W to go to the move mode, and right click on the X axis to make it dead center, so now it snaps to center. The reference image itself is not perfectly symmetrical, and that's nothing wrong with it. I have function key 4 turned on to be able to see the wireframes, and actually we need more wires, not exactly just a horizontal. I'm curious about having more around the vertical. And how much? So I set it to 5, and the reason is that when we have set it to 5, we are able to create the top, and the eyes should be in this middle row, like here in this row. Here, that's good for the nose, and yes, we will have another additional edge that cuts the model in half, but hold on for a second. Of course, it should be a little bit longer, the overall length. Let me lift this up, and the eyes should be somewhere here. Which one is good for me? So this one could be stretched out a bit. This one could leave it as it is. Okay, so in general, I think it's good. Let me go to the left viewport and see how much edges we have there. There's nothing yet. It's practically, you want to keep it as low as possible. But if you just split in half, it's hard to position the ears. Even if we are creating separated ears, it's a good idea to have at least a structure that supports to be able to create the ears. Okay, now that's nice. This was good. And let me add a modifier called Relax. And that helps us to soften up this box a little bit to have more like human head shape. Okay, so we don't want to push vertices if we don't have to. So start easy on this. Let me shift and drag just to make a copy for myself. I will not be able to see it. The image will cover it mostly, but it's a good idea if you do something wrong or something goes off. Saving is your friend, but this technique, shift and drag and copy of it, is just very, very valuable. Okay, now going to the front, Alt X to make it see-through, and I will convert it into an editable polymodel because it's time to push and pull some of the areas. So I will drag this, and we can use soft selection. So we can actually turn this off, soft selection, and maybe this is too intensive, so I will drag this. Now be careful. When you are creating this, you have to have some kind of a realistic size of the background drop. So what does it mean? This overall plane, reference plane, is 120 centimeters in my set. So if you don't know how to set up 3dsMax for modeling or starting out, please check the Penguin tutorials and look for those. And also don't forget to customize unit setup and adjust your unit setup, both display unit scale and system unit scale. Okay, so just a reminder. Now, so we're having this, which was a little bit pulled up, which was good. What I'm looking for this line, because this line could be somewhere above the eye. Now this one is at eye level. I'm afraid it won't make it. So just let me drag this down. Let me drag this a little bit further and lift this. So here, this should be a little bit outside. So I will stretch it out like this. Okay, just stretch it out like this. Here, this should be also stretched out a bit, just along the x-axis. So it's only in one direction. You can see it's only in one direction. Let me go back to front. Here should be the nose. These will be the eye areas. Let me pull this out a bit more. I'm not really worried about making everything that symmetrical, because I will mirror this side to the other one. So I'll do it just because it's easier to see with my eyes, but these are not exactly copied from that side. Okay, select these, or scaling them, moving them to the bottom position, and this chin, this area of the chin should be a little bit higher, and this area should be a little bit scaled down to make it more pointy. Okay, perspective, right, and definitely we have to protrude this a little bit more, so I will select the polygon and turn on soft selection and check it for myself. If I pull this, what happens? It's too much. The strength of it is too much, so I will make it a little bit more gentle, just like, you know, to have this angle. Okay, let me see what's going on and how to make it symmetrical. Alt-X to make it see-through. And we have the eye in here. We have the nose area. So there we go. Now, so how to make it symmetrical? We'll go to Edge Mode, select this edge, turn off soft selection if it's turned on, press Alt-R, or you can use ring, and connect it. The default connect is actually placing it dead center. So once you have this line that splits up the model, we can go to Polygon and select all the polygons in the front view. Just make sure that you are in exactly the front view. Okay, so when you see here F front, then it's working. This front is nothing. Okay, so don't use the view cube, press F to go into the front viewport, because view cube is a little bit misleading. When you're in perspective and you press front cube, the front, it's not a front view. Okay, it's not. It is a view from the front, but it's still in perspective. If you press F, that's an orthographic front view. And that's what we are needed for editing. So let me hit delete, and from the modifier list, Symmetry, SYM, and X not working, Y not working, X it's working, but it's the opposite. The empty side is mirrored, so what I will do is go and use flip. Which one's good? And of course we need a turbo smooth, turbo. And hit enter and see what's going on here. So that is it. Alright, so that's the base for the head. Okay, now we can add one more level if we want to make it a little bit more sharp, cleaner, smoother. And then go in front view, and now it's time to work on some of the details. The first thing I want to address is the eye, so I can press Alt-X to make it see-through. This point is behind the head, so it's the back of the head. But I will select this point and this point as well. And what we do need is some kind of an eye socket. And to make it a little bit easier, we can actually create a border around this with inset. Okay, and now Shift E or extrude, right click or extrude, that's the same thing. And okay, I've been a bit ambitious about this. It's just way too much, and I'm also scaling it down. Okay, also scaling it down. Look at for perspective and see for myself what we have here. Okay, so that's a kind of a good eye socket. It's a little bit scared, so not matching exactly with our needs, but here's time to make the corrections. So Alt-X and turn on the show end result. That helps a lot to see what we have actually. Actually, function key 4 could be used to turn off the grid. And I'm just making this whole thing. Now, we can actually rotate the eyes. We can actually rotate the eyes, but how to do it? Let me go to the polygon levels. Now, it's easier to understand if I show this. The show end result is turned off. So I have this polygon selected. And in order to be able to rotate, I have nothing to do, just have a polygon or more vertex selected, and I can rotate it this way. But it's not enough, so I have to select more polygons than this. by using grow. So these two are selected. I'm pressing on grow, it selects the sides. And if I'm pressing it again, it selects the frame that I have created around here. And that way, I can rotate it actually. So let me go to the front, Z, show and result, because I want to see more. And now I can slightly rotate this. Even go to the top. If I wish, I can rotate it this way, but I don't think it's a necessity. Okay, that's right. Here we go. So we have now an eye socket. I don't know much about this protruding thing. I think this should be okay. But in general, I think it's just too much here. So I will turn this off, select these points, and pull them back with soft selection. Soft selection is really a good way to make changes, but do not stretch things overly. So that's what I do, and usually the fall off should be adjusted. Okay, and one thing about soft selection, when you are using soft selection, at the moment when you're really here, this point is like this light green. So when I'm starting to pull this in, I'm holding my mouse and pulling, but at the moment when I'm release, this fall off is recalculated. Okay, so when you see that I'm just dragging and something is wrong and I'm undoing and dragging again, this is why at the moment when you release the mouse button, this whole thing will be recalculated because it's based on fall off. That's a distance, and that distance is given. Okay, so that's what you need to know about soft selection. Okay, it looks better. I'm not worried about the eyeballs right now. Let me turn off soft selection and see what's going on here. Okay, yeah, we have to address the nose. The nose should be somewhere here, and it's partially on this side as well. So what I will do is I will select this point, lift this up a little bit, and create a platform for the nose. And that is the basic inset. Okay, insets are usually good for creating these kind of safe frames. If you don't use them, the model, the part that you are extruding or creating cavity won't be that sharp, that clean, or that accurate. Okay, let me turn this off. Function key 4 and go for inset, but this time I will use inset with settings to have a little bit of a better control. It remembers my previous settings, which one is fine for me, so let me hit OK. And be careful, I have 2 polygons selected, and these are insetted as one. But we have options here like by polygon, and that will create 2 individual insets, which one's not in our favor. So what we need to do is to go to group and then use it as one part, one item. Okay, but we don't want to create 2 noses. Okay, so that's the welding area here. It's a little bit confusing. So what we have to do is select this polygon guy and hit delete, remove it completely. And when we do this again, we are in a better situation, but we have a hole there. So I'll have to fix the hole. Let me go undo this, select the edge. So I'm on edge level, selecting the edge, and hit right click here. So right click on X, and it will land you on this very X-centered position, and hopefully it fixes our issue. It's not perfect. Can you see that vertex welding error? So it may be because this vertex may be not super vertical, or we need to forcefully just pull it a little bit forward. We can fix these welding issues later on. Right now I'll just, okay, now there was a moment when it was better. Okay, where we are. Oh, I don't want to play with this all day long. Okay, I will leave it as it is now and fix it later. Okay, so what's happening? We have now a platform, and we can extrude from here. Okay, so I will just select these polygons and pull them a little bit. Okay, just giving the base, right? So pull them a little bit, giving the base, even on the vertex level. Function key 4. I will select these 2 vertices, pull them a little bit up, select this polygon and protrude it a little bit more, and then, so this is the base. basically pull this even more, and I will extrude from here. So I'm not sure about this, but give it a try. And yes, we have to weld this, and yeah, we need to pull this. This is not protruding that much, so I will leave it as it is, and working on the width. Now, the width, when I'm changing this, probably that width will be okay, and probably I need to cant this a little bit more. Okay, so the structure is good. Now I have to work on the shape. So let me turn this off and look for the errors. It's not really an error, but this is an issue we have to address. That whenever you extrude something, especially along the symmetry, you have to take care of this inside polygon that you have created all the time. So I'm just selecting it and deleting it. Okay, now it fixes the welding. So going to the left viewport, and I'm just eyeballing now and trying to making the changes. So for example, this should be a little bit less pointy or less sharp in the top. Selecting these, pulling them a little bit back. I will actually select all these guys and rotate slightly, and maybe scale a bit and pull it back. So I think that's a kind of realistic nose that he has. Okay, function D4, yeah, it's not bad. All right, so this is too flat on here. We have this kind of play around with the contours. So this should be somewhere else, and also I have to modify the position of this, and probably these are a little bit higher. Okay, a little bit higher, and this shape is also a little bit higher. The nose, the tip of the nose is lower in order to create that canted look. Okay, and it's wide. Maybe we don't need to make it that wide, so I'll go to polygon and select this and pull it a little bit back. Okay, so now you see the logic. I don't want to destroy the whole thing, so I will select vertices instead. Selecting these vertices and pulling them in a bit more. Okay, and that will affect a little bit the eye shapes, which one is better. And now we have the nose in a somewhat cool manner. Okay, this area is a little bit flat. I don't like it. This is a 3D model, so make it three-dimensional. Three-dimensional. It's not working that way, so it's not enough. If it just looks good, it should be shaped well as well. Okay, good. Now, what else? We need to take care of the mouth. And how to take care of the mouth? We need to find an area that's suitable to start in the mouth. Function key 4, and in front view, I'm just checking on here. So where the mouth should be. The mouth should be somewhere here, around these polygons. I'm not sure if this is included or not. I will include it and give it a try. But before I do that, because it's a kind of fairly good base, I will shift and drag and make a copy for myself. All right, so now this is an important state, and the mouth can mess things up. So you can do this copy every time you create something, a new part on here. So polygon, and these are the polygons I'm interested in. And yeah, later on we can add the chin protruding part here. So I will just make the same thing. I will do the inset with the setting, which one is fine, and I do like it a lot. And okay, so let me hit OK. Select this polygon, delete it, edge, and reset this edge to set the X. And now we have kind of a base. Now this one is obviously, it's way too thin for a lip. So what I will do is I will select this guy and just pull this down to shape of an upper lip. Okay, so that's the goal. This will be the upper lip part. Okay, so the upper lip part, this is the corner of the mouth. This should be a little bit higher. I will pull this in and rotate the model around. Okay, so continuously I'm rotating the model around because that's the way I can get information about the position of the points, vertices. Now I'm setting double. I'm pulling this out a little bit, and that will be the lower lip area. And here this polygon stripe will be the cavity. Okay, so that will be the cavity. It looks like it's not, but actually that will be the cavity. And but before I do the extrusion, we deal first with the outside points, because why don't generate any cavities before you are done with the outside. Okay, it can mess up things, it can confuse things. It's if you don't have a good proper round, kind of roundish eye socket, there's no reason to extrude it inwards. Okay, so keep things low, because once you have more points, there's more struggle. Okay, so deal with the right amount of points that you have at the beginning, and then add slowly. And every time you see something is off, or just curious about the possibilities, just shift and drag and copy a modify yourself. All right, so let me drag this, pulling in, and now I think it's good. We can do a couple things more, but here it's good. So Shift E, create this extrusion, and extrusion is always going to surface normal, so you have to check where the direction of the extrusion. And I will not go crazy, I will not create a mouth cavity, but actually you can extrude it forward and make it and just scale it up, and you can build a mouth cavity this way. It's just starting the cavity. And of course we have a kind of a stray polygon. We have to deal with this. Good. And it's time to check how this thing is looking now. Okay, cool. The mouth is not closed. We can play with that. So Vertex, and to have it look like it's closed or closer to a closing position, we have to just overhang. Now it looks weird in the low poly model, but this is how it looks when you're actually applying Turbo Smooth. It will be better. What we have an error here. We want to deal with this, and of course we can play with. Well, let me show you the point I'm selecting. So we can pull these points up. We can also select these and pull this a little bit outside and deal with that. Okay, here we go. All right, so that's practically the deal. Okay, now let me complete the chin. Add some chin model, just a little bit of a protrusion here. So that will be, I will just select this point to give some room for the work. So these two polygons, polygon here, should be extruded and scaled down a bit. And of course we don't want to create a double chin like this, but actually we can do. So let me drag this, pull it to the center until it welds, and that could be a great point for the chin. All right, if we want to make it sharper here, we can insert an edge, or we can do a trick with it. I will give it a try and make that trick, but just a second. So before I do that, I want to fix and delete this inside polygon that I have just created and fix the symmetry. So let me go to the front viewport, and as you see, we have these kind of jagged lines. So how to fix it easily? We have edge and border. Borders are edges along an open area. So when you are selecting border and hit on here, it will select everything in a row. And we can go to the front viewport, press R, and use the scale to scale it down. Yep, that's it. We have it scaled down. And now look at the symmetry, and There's no errors. But it's not just the front. So guys, please don't forget that you have to check it thoroughly everywhere to make it happen and look good. Now this top is a little bit missing, so what I can do is I can lift this up a bit, or I can insert more edges around, but I will not do it now. I will just lift this up and look if the arc is better or not. We can actually select this and also lift this up a bit more. Yeah, I think it's closer to the drawing. So now we have this shadow appearing that was drawn very wisely over there. Okay, now to make it sharp, it's not the all-time best solution, but it is doable. So let me here select edge. We want to make this a little bit pointy because it's really an important part of the character silhouette. For that, we have to add more edges, but if you just add more edges, you will generate triangles. But how to avoid to generate triangles? Select one edge, go to chamfer, chamfer with settings, and in that, let me add some more. We can create different types of chamfers. We can create quad, tri, uniform, radial, whatever. Here we go with quad, and quad chamfer can help a lot here. And what we'll do basically, we have now 3 edges instead of the 1 edge, and we have additional more edges. So I will go with this, accept it. Go to vertex level, use target weld, and target weld this point to here, target weld this point to here, and select edge level, level 2, and selecting this edge, and be careful, you can't delete just edges. It's not like with polygons, like hitting the delete button. So you have to right click and remove them. And now we have, actually, this is a quad, this is a quad, this is a quad. Looks odd, but these are quads. So when you apply the turbo smooth, this will be fairly sharp. We have now this kind of a star here, but even if it's animated, that won't make a big deal. But here you have a nice, clean, proper kind of edge that looks all right. In this case, we can grow from the side, so we can create ears, but it's a little bit easier if we keep it separated from the model, in my opinion. So we can go with the front and starting with a plane, and I'm just dragging this plane and I'll rotate it. And this rotation will generate some issues. So before I rotate, let me do this and I will explain what's going on. I don't want to rotate this because that's affecting the pivot point, okay? And when the pivot point is affected, the symmetry modifier will break, okay? So the symmetry modifier will be not mirroring to left or right. It will mirror to this angle that we have created. So first, I will just make it happen here. Add some segments, or actually remove some of the segments and make it a little bit longer, and just perspective, function key 4. So that's what we are. We have a segment inside. Actually, I don't want that segment inside, so let me set it to 0. 6, I think 5 should be enough. Front viewport, maybe the overall length should be increased a bit more. So I'm just to try to create a bounding box with a plane, just that can cover the ears, and now it's good. So now I will right click, convert it into an editable poly, and here's the trick. In editable poly, I'm selecting the elements. That's the whole item that I have, and if I rotate now, it is rotating within the model, so I don't have to worry about this symmetry later on. So let me go there. Symmetry, sim, hit enter, and X, and yeah, we need to take care of this center of symmetry, mirror, because now it's mirroring in place, and I'm dragging this, it disappearing. Why? Because this empty side is mirrored here. So flip, and now it's fairly good. If you want to make it dead center, right click, and ta-da, okay, we are good to go. So now we have these two places for the ears, and then we can go in Vertex, and what I will do is I will trace it. So pull this up, and Function key 3 helps me in here to be able to see some points that are covered, but we don't need to do it on the outside. So that's it. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, definitely it's a little bit further apart. So maybe, oh my god, what's going on here? So select this point, pull it in, and good, great. All right, so we definitely want to add some thickness to it, and we definitely want to add some 3D shape to it. So how to do is we can use cut. In this case, Alt-C is the hotkey for cut, but here we have cut, and start from here. Now, the benefit of using cut is you can manually position the points. So I will do this. I will try to somewhat trace the outline and land it here. Okay, it's fairly good. Maybe another one. Okay, it's just wrong. So let me start from here. Zoom out and trace in the center. Okay, to be able to create a 3D shape for the ear, right click. Which one's good? Okay, that's it. That's how it goes. Now, this tip should be positioned here to make it more kind of rounded, but I will leave it as it is, and look at the results. Okay, so where we are, first of all, we have to move this guy in position. So move it, it's somewhere here. Yes, it is rotated, so I will just rotate in the 3D space and move it back a bit. Which one's good? What I can do more, I can select these edges. Actually, these are already selected because these were just created. But if you don't have them selected, you can press and select, hold down Control, select both edges. Just let me hit this. Oh yeah, it's a little bit better code for this. So we have two edges and we can use loop, alright, because it's a complete straight cut. And let me pull this back to add this arced shape. Okay, if we want more arc, we can go to polygon. And this is just like modeling a tree leaf. So this is nothing crazy. It's just a simple zero thickness sheet. But we will add thickness by applying shell modifier. Shell. Good. Okay, so now we have a thickness. It won't make it perfect. So what I will do is I need to check it manually, or if I'm able to do, I can use trading corners. No, it's nothing. Basically, edge mapping is not. Okay, so to make our life a little bit easier, I will leave the outside. The outside should be a little bit bigger, and the inside should be smaller. Okay, so that can help us. Alright, that can help us. We can add more thickness to it if we wish. That's how it goes. Right? This was good. Okay, we have the ears. Now I will delete symmetry by selecting it, right click and delete. And actually I will change the colors to make it similar. So this kind of a lighter, not skin tone, but you know, this, oh, it's just too much. It's too yellowish. Okay, this is a little bit better. It's still strong, but it's a little bit better and closer without any materials, just for the eye. And we can convert this into an editable poly and do some tricks. Like we can actually select the polygons, and these polygons, because this is the helix of the ear, so these should be extruded. Shift E, and I'm just lightly extruding this, and then some of the polygons could be pulled out a bit more. And if you want to create an undercut, you can select the points and pull them back in, and rotating around. So to generate the shadow, and in here it's exactly the opposite. So I want more shadows around here. Add symmetry sim, and of course symmetry I have to fix it again. So what's going on here? If you see that's back and forth, X is not working, Y is not working, it's up and down, which was funny by the way. And X, left and right, and you know, front view, Alt W, Z to zoom in, and we have mirror as the center, and drag it, and the typical thing, right click on the X-axis. And if you have a tendency to model on the figure's right side, that's your left figure's right side, you always have to do this flip. I'm doing this because it's just I'm using ZBrush a lot, and it's just much easier for me. I don't know, it's just I always model on this side, but if you are modeling on the left side of the figure, then usually you don't have to deal with this kind of flipping problem. Okay, whoa, cool. And now on top of it, we should add turbo smooths. And that's it. That's how it goes, right? And of course, we need to increase the detail. And if we want to create this little tragus here, we have in here, there's tragus and anti-tragus. So I will select this guy, and maybe this as well, and inset this a bit. So it's kind of an L shape. Can you see? It's kind of an L shape, and pull this. It's like kind of extrusion. No, I will do extrusion instead of it, or just this one. I don't want to overcomplicate things. Excuse me, extrude, and just a tiny extrusion. So nothing crazy. So let me see how it works. Oh, that's fair enough. We don't want to go crazy. It's a relatively simple corrector. Okay, so that's how it goes. We have the basic shape of the figure. We can actually create the neck from the head. We can extrude it, but it's easy to do with a kind of a cylinder type of model. But what else? Okay, we want to create the top, and want to create some hairs. Now, how to create the top first? It looks like we have kind of an edge that's going around here. So what I will do is go into the front viewport, and before creating hairs or anything, first we want to have an eye. So here's the eyeball. Rotate this around. Okay, it's not a perfect rotation. Let me use angle snap and rotate it at 90 degrees, and pressing V, and right now I just want to move it in. And yes, this is fully spherical, so it's not ideal. What I'm looking for is the overall height, this height, because every other thing will be distorted with a freeform deformer. So to do it, first of all, I like to start with the least amount of points at first. So even if I apply more, usually I start with the 2x2, and here it's just about selecting the top and shrink it down on this axis and selecting the bottoms. I'm dragging a window because we want to select all 4 points. All right. So function key 3 is your friend if you want to see inside the head of the guy. It doesn't work in real life, but I wish for the function key 3 to see through, to see the thoughts of others. Okay, so that's it. Looks good. Yeah, we should make it whitish. I don't like full white. The reason is it's confusing because white is selection color in 3dsMax. So even if something is white, at least I give a light gray. And we can actually shift and drag, W, shift and drag, make a copy of it, resize it with scale, and set it to black. Okay, and just that's the easiest way to with 3dsMax palette, we have actually black. That's a really easy way to create something nice. And you know what? Because we have using non-destructive modifiers like FFD, we can go down to sphere and increase the resolution segments to 62. Why not? No, 64. I like it better. And select the eye, and just 48, whatever this one is. This one looks good. Okay, front, and you can play actually with how the guy is looking. So it's really a good idea to start with. And of course, for the eyeballs, you can use symmetry, and you typically X symmetry here, flip and drag the mirror center. That helps. Right click on here to make it set, and but for the eye socket, I'm sorry, the iris, I will just use shift and drag because I want to be able to move it independently. Just to play around things, like just what's going on, what's happening here. Perspective, that's great. Maybe we can select both of them and pull them up. Hey, what are you doing now? All right, so back to the head, and soon we will finish this. Just the hat should be kind of an interesting thing if we want to create it in this edgy, like a edgy shape here. So I will start with a cylinder. Basically, go to the top viewport and start dragging out the cylinder and make a length on it. If it's complicated to work in just in one viewport, you can always go and maximize viewports and work in 4 views, like perspective here, front here, left here. I just like to use the front, left, P, perspective, all these hotkeys all the time. So that's why I'm not really working in the 3D view, in 4 viewports. So here we are. Just to catch the overall shape. That's it. Cap segments. We don't have cap segments, but why not? We should have at least 2, and that would generate this kind of star, which one is not that bad at all. And height front, Alt X, and actually the diameter, the radius should be a little bit bigger, and the overall height up here. Okay, and the sides 18 may be good, but here's the issue that we have to take care of. So when we have that 18, the symmetry line will be added on here. So instead of having 18, I will increase it, set it to 20. And when 20 is done, we have now lines on here. Actually, we don't need 20, so it's just too much. Let me try to set it to 10. 10, 12. 12 will generate these nice edges, okay? So that helps a lot. It's still rounded. We can use smooth, which one is good. So front, perspective, Alt X. Everything's fine. So I will hold it for now and press FFT and 3x3. So FFT 3x3. The reason is it's not just a taper. It is more than a taper. So I'm selecting all the points at the top with the drag window and hit R. Scale it down and add it to make it relatively pointy. And as you see, this is generating a nice arc. So I'm selecting these points and exactly the opposite, selecting these points and pull them even further. Maybe pull it inside, put it on the head. Which one is good? Okay, here we are. It's standing straight up. Okay, later on we can tilt, but right now this looks good. Okay, so here we are, and I will leave it as it is, and going in and try to make this a little bit of an edgy thing. Now, just to do it, let me make a copy of it. So this was good. Let me make a copy. Okay. And convert it into editable poly. So now, here with this one, I have the ability to edit and go back. But here, now it's collapsed. And I will cut through. I will cut through and insert an edge here. and hopefully Swift Loop will work. It will not cut through entirely, so I have a front cut and a back cut. Here's one cut, and here's one cut. Okay, and that cut reinforces the things. So if I'm applying Turbo Smooth, this is how it looks. So now we have a highlight edge. Can you see? So now we have a highlight edge. And of course, we want to make it symmetrical. Remove, delete, function key 4, and we can actually just drag these polygons, highlight them, and delete. But be careful. In top viewport, you need to check this as well, because these polygons are very tiny in the top. Okay, so that's how it goes. And the other thing is, we can actually create a nice edge around here, because when you are using Turbo Smooth, so let me show that. Let me apply symmetry first. Symmetry. Yes, X, and yes, flip. So we have symmetry on, and we need turbo. Where are you, turbo? And Turbo Smooth will actually drop this edge quite heavily. It will influence, it will smooth it out. Which one? It's not that bad, but we don't want it. So to avoid that, we can insert an edge around here. So to do it, let me select an edge here. Go with ring. It will select everything in a row. Even if it's arced, it is a row. And see, that's it. And we can go connect, but not just a default connect, but that's connect in the middle. That connects in the middle. So we connect with settings, and we can slide this guy. So we can slide this. Can you see? Okay. So the more outside it is, usually the sharper the edge becomes. But don't have to be very greedy. It's enough if it works properly. Okay. All right. So what else? We want to go polygons, and actually here's one set of polygons, and we want to create this kind of what is it? It's like a ribbon or a golden ribbon or something else. But I will not try to make it individually. I will select this guy, these polygons, all of these, a row, and make a detach. So where we are, where are you? Detach, and detach is clone. Okay, so detach is clone. I don't want to rip it off from the cap, so we'll keep it and ribbon, and hit OK. So now we have another model created. This is here. It has no. I will change quickly the color, and just to make it a little bit brighter. And we can go in, select edge, go to loop. It will select everything in a row, but I double check. So double check all the time. Lower it down. Actually, we can actually canting it. You know, this one's a little bit thicker here, thinner here. So I will do this this trick, like angling. All right, we have the 5-degree incrementals turned on, angle snap. I will turn it off just to have a better control myself. Okay, so leave it as it is, and guess what? So we have symmetry already. So I will just drag and drop it on here, because practically it's almost exactly the same model. I was copying from that same model, so that symmetry should be okay. And we already know shell modifier. Good. We need to address some thickness change. It's not inside, but rather in the outside. And if you're applying a turbo outside, well, this will generate this nice rounded thing. Okay, it's not enough, so iterations 2, iteration 1, but iteration 2, it will make it even sharper. And once we have it, we definitely need to have that sphere on the top. I can't miss that. I can't miss that. So autogrid, and autogrid is not working here, but I tried. I tried anyway. Let me lift this up. Oh, it's so huge. Huge. Go. Okay. There we go. A little bit of asymmetry. Makes it perfect. Just a tiny asymmetry. And 32, the default is 32. That should be okay. And this should be kind of golden, or golden look. ACI plate. This one, yeah, probably. Okay, looks a little bit larger than needed. So in 2D and 3D, sometimes when you do the same size, it's not exactly the best. Sometimes you have to trick, but you will see. Okay, so this should be a little bit darker, and darker green. That's good. It's not that too dark. So to create the eyebrows, practically you can create a plane and add some thickness, or you can just create a box, go to outer grid, and put this box on the eyes, and add some thickness, and go and look for the resolution. Of course, we don't need that much, so I will leave that out. But we have to have a couple segments and thickness, so we can adjust this. And turbo, where are you? And now we have this one. And actually, you can apply and edit poly modifier, or you can apply FFD. But here, symmetry will not work. So you can give it a try. So if you have in the 3D space an angle, you can give it a try to using mirrors. It won't make it one model, but mirror is usually an easy thing. You can choose instance, and that way what you do on here on this side, it will be followed on the other side. So let me hit OK, and it doesn't matter. You can apply FFD to here, to there, because you have copied instance. With instance, it will follow. Okay, so that's where we are, and just to make it work, kind of blackish, black. Where are you, black? Okay, oh, both of it, sorry. So okay, perspective Z. That's how it goes. Now we can play with that. This, if you want to move them as one group, so go into the left view and want to rotate as one thing. It's the easy thing if you group them like cap, hat, whatever, and start rotating around and just make the changes and calling it in. You can even use some scales if you wish, but be careful because it will distort some of the things. Actually, the head seems to be a little bit flat, so what I will do, I will select one single point, go to soft selection, and just pull it until it somewhat covers that area, and we still need to create some kind of a hair. That could be done with basically anything. You can create parts, like you can actually lift this up, shift and drag, lift this up, make it a copy. That way it's not depending on the things. You can scale this whole thing up and use it as a base for the hairs, if you wish. It's quick and dirty, but if it works, it doesn't matter really. And just put it in and position where it belongs, and just add a color you want, a little bit of a reddish color. Do we have that? Do we have that kind of orange, stronger orange? No, I will set to red, which one is fine for now. And shift and drag. And these are just, even if you're not using it at the end, it gives you a view about the options, about the proportions. Okay, so it can help a lot. Now that's another part of hair. Good. Okay, so here we are. All right, and we can move forward, and that's it practically. So that's how you do the things. And actually, I will just try to look for a different color. This was disturbing. Maybe a darker brownish Yeah, it is better. It's still not perfect, but it is better. So just one thing here and move. We can actually just flip over if we wish and look for that angles. Yeah, like hair clumps. Okay, that's it. All right, so I miss the neck. I can't live without it. So cylinder, the eyes are missing so much. So don't forget. Just make those necks. Don't forget to make them. Okay, because they're influencing this thing a lot. The overall look, the posture of the figure. These are all suggested. The angle of the neck, the size of the neck, it tells a lot about the figure. A thin neck, it's a friendly guy, not much force. You know, a little bit angled neck, usually it's much more about a kind of office or simple guy, not you know, not an outdoorsman. If you have a little bit of a canted neck, so you can play with these. These are telling. These things are telling a lot about your character. It could be smoother, and we have height segments. We need to have height segments because we will use FFT to make it work. FFT and 3x3 and control points. So here, just dragging them. Here I will scale it, rotate the whole thing. Okay, perspective, Vertex, function key 4. And it's even thinner. Maybe lift this up. Yeah, rotate this as well. Okay, this is really dense, but as you see, as I'm rotating, I'm also affecting the structure of it. So if you want to animate later on this thing, that should be addressed. Okay, all right. And of course, we have to have some kind of a color. Which one? Maybe this bright one. Okay. It's just too bright. One tone darker. These are the basic colors of the models. So within 3dsMax, I like to play with these at the beginning. Don't wasting too much time on materials because it's just gives you the feedback you're looking for. Okay, so thank you very much, and that's it. So hope you had fun, and see you next time. Bye bye.